Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Wednesday tutorial. This week, to get us in the mood for Halloween, we are going to be making this spooky pumpkin. So grab a cup of tea, grab your crochet hooks and let's get making.
When the crypt doors creak and the tombstones quake,
Spooks and clockworks wait and wait,
happy haunts materialize,
and begin to vocalize.
grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Now don't close your eyes and don't try to hide.
Or a silly spook may sit by your side.
Shrouded in...
So for this week's tutorial, you are going to need some yarn. This is just some Robin DK, a crochet hook the size to go with your yarn, so you can make this in any size yarn. Obviously, the bigger the yarn, the bigger the pumpkin. So I got a 4mm crochet hook, and you just need some scrap yarn to make the top of your pumpkin. Also some scissors and a needle to sew your ends in. So once you've got all your stuff together, we can get crocheting. So we are going to start off with our orange, or whatever colour you have chosen for your pumpkin, and we are going to start with a slip knot. Now this pumpkin is so simple to make. Oh, I've got to say, you'll need some toy stuff in as well. So I'm using DK yarn. If you're using a bigger yarn, you might want to chain less. So I'm going to chain 25. So start with your slip knot and then chain 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm getting all caught up. 23, 24 and 25. And what we're going to do, so starting from the second chain from the hook, so we never ever count this loop on the hook. So this is 1 and this is 2, and we are just going to half treble or half double if you are in the US, all the way along. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And we're just going to do that all the way until we get to the very end of our work. So I'm just coming to the very last stitch of my row. So what you want to do at the end, we're just going to chain 1, and then we are going to turn our work. Now normally when you work a stitch, you work through the 2 loops, so 1 and 2, so the front and the back. But for this pattern, we're just working in the back loops only. So we're just going to treble into, half treble, sorry, into the back loops only. All the way along. So if you can see, I'm just going into the back loop. And that is what gives us the ribbed effect of our pumpkin. So if you want to pause the video and carry on until you get to the end of the row, and I will show you how to turn your work. So I'm just coming to the last 2 stitches. So don't forget that you do have one right at the very end. Sometimes it doesn't look like there is one, but there is one there. So you should have 24 stitches if you chained 25. So then what you want to do is chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to continue in this pattern. So half treble or half double crochet if you're in the US, all the way along, chain 1, turn, and then half treble back into that very first stitch. So you want to do approximately double of the amount you've done across. So I've done 25 across, so I'm going to do 50 rows of half treble into the back loops only. So if you've done 10 because you're maybe using a chunkier yarn, I would sort of do 20 or 25 to get it to the length that you want. So if you want to pause the video now and come back when you are near to completing the length of your piece of work, and I will show you how to turn it into a pumpkin because I am magic. So I'm just gonna finish my last row. Might help if I did the right stitch. And then once you've reached the end, we're just going to tie our work off. So you want to chain 1. Now you need to leave a long end just like we did at the start, because we are going to stitch the bottom up, so we can just use this long end to sew our work up. So this is what your work should look like now, and we are going to join together these two. Now to keep the ribbed effect, what you want to do is, so I'm going to use this one because it's longer. We're just going to attach our needle if I can find one. So we will just trim that down. That's, oh, I can't put the blinking needle up now. It's one of those days today. So what we're going to do, just to keep that ribbed effect, is we're going to grab the back stitch and then through the front stitch, and you just want to give that a pull and just carry on doing that all the way around. So into each stitch, just do the back stitch and the front stitch, and that will keep the ribbed effect rather than having a join that's really obvious. So if you want to pause the video and come back when you've sewn all the way along here, so you want to do the back stitch in one and then just catch the front stitch in the other, all the way until you get to the end. Don't fasten off when you get to the end. So I'll meet you when you are done here. So I've just done my last stitch into the end there, and if you can see, because we've only done the front and back, you can't really see the join. It actually looks, so the join is here, and it actually looks like one of the ribbon, where if you go through both parts of the stitch, it'd be a really obvious join. So what we need to do now, so don't fasten your yarn off, that's why you need it to be quite long, and we are just going to weave in and out just all the way along the bottom of our work. So just in and out, just like so. And as you can see, that's pulling that end closed. So just all the way along the bottom. Just give it a tug. I've chosen the worst colour here, this orange. And then when you reach where you started, let me just go over that. We're just gonna secure it shut just by sewing over a few times. And just making sure that that is fully closed on the bottom, because we are going to be putting some toy stuff in through. So just tie your work off however you tie your work off. I hate it when that happens. It always gets caught and I end up just doing this just to secure it. I've got the world's biggest scissors ever. These are actually dressmaking scissors. So I'm just going to snip that off. Now what you can do, you can, if you want it sort of to have a neater bottom, just turn it inside out so the main bulk of where you joined it is in the middle. And I think it sits better if you turn it inside out. Now you want to grab your toy stuffing and just pop some toy stuffing in. It's amazing how far toy stuffing goes, honestly. And you want to grab this end here. We're just going to do exactly the same to join our top part up. So thread your needle, just weave in and out all the way around, and then stitch over a few times just to keep that opening closed, and I will meet you back when you are done. So I've sewed mine all together. What I'm going to do now, just to give the pumpkin a bit of better shape, is I'm just going to pop my needle through the top here, straight through the middle, just keep pushing and it should come through. And I'm just going to pull that, and then that will bring in your middle part. And then you just want to pull it quite tight and then just sew that in. So it doesn't come undone. And this is the bottom, so nobody will see this part. And then just tie off. And then your pumpkin looks very pumpkin-y. So now we've done that, we can start on our stalk. To our stalk, I'm just going to make a really simple stalk. You can do them in other ways. I've seen people do like I-cords for theirs, but as this is a beginner's tutorial, I just thought I would do a really simple top, so anybody can do it. And then if you want to change yours up, you are more than welcome. So we're just going to start with a slip knot, and then instead of doing a magic circle, we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then you want to find your first chain and insert your hook, yarn over and just slip stitch. So through there and through there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work 12 doubles into the middle of our chain 4. So there is the middle. Let me do that again. See, even professionals get it wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is the middle. So just chain 1 to start with, and then we're just going to do 12 double crochets into the middle, treble crochet, sorry, double if you're in the US, into the middle of our circle. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just crochet over this loose end as you go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, and then you want to slip stitch into your very first stitch of the round. And then if you pull that little tail, it will close your gap up a bit. So chain 1 and then just leave a long tail, because we can use that to sew on the top of our pumpkin. I think it looks so cute, so I'm just going to get rid of this tail here, and then you just want to sew that on to the top of your pumpkin, and your pumpkin is complete. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also find us on my blog on WordPress. You can find Crochet Beginners Group on Facebook, on Twitter, and also Snapchat and Instagram. I will leave all the details below. Don't forget to check out my booktube channels. So Crochet Beginners Group has a book club, so I've got some book reviews on my book club channel. So thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time.
When the crypt doors creak and the tombstones quake,
Spooks and popcorns swing and wait,
happy haunts materialize,
and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
now don't close your eyes and don't try to hide.
For a silly spook, place it by your side.